Mr. Chair. Y'all hear me okay?
Yes, yes, we can.
Okay, great, thank you. And thank you, Director Turlo and team for the presentation. I have a question, a series of questions about enforcement of parking in the bike lane. As you also know, there's also a resolution in committee right now about bike lanes, and this is related to that, but it's also just related to the business of HPA. There was a moratorium on enforcement of parking violations in the bike lanes for about a year, right?
Yes, that's correct.
And help me out, I think I know, but I know you know the details better, so you'll help me out. But from roughly the beginning of 2023 to March of this year?
Oh, beginning of 2024 to, I think
Sorry,
it was.
that's what I meant to say,
Yep.
sorry.
Yes, until I think February or March of this year. Correct.
And that started with complaints from two businesses, right?
I believe it was one business initially. I'm getting a shake head. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm getting a shaking head. I had gotten an email, I believe, from council, and I believe there was one affected business initially that was the cause for the conversation.
I just want to be clear, when you say you got an email from council, you didn't get there was not a resolution, there was not an official communication from the nine, right? There was a communication from a handful of us.
No, I received an email, and then there was a meeting that was set up pursuant to that email.
But there was two or three council members there.
Yes, there were a few members of city council present in the meeting.
And that basically there's a restaurant on Scion where they felt that they needed the parking that was the bike lane on one side of Scion Street in front of their restaurant. So they wanted a moratorium for that block, right?
Yes, it was asked to hold on enforcement for bike lanes, and I think the idea was, to review the infrastructure and how the decisions were made to put bike lanes into the city. Had time to review that planning.
So I'm just trying to understand the process. So a few members of council asked you in a meeting to stop enforcing parking in bike lanes.
Yes, the request was made that we stop enforcing for time to review. Correct.
And that was February of 2024?
I think around then. I'd have to check my calendar to verify, but around that time.
And as far as there was never an ordinance change or a resolution. All the same rules were in effect, but there was a little pause.
Yes, that's correct. There was a request to hold.
And that ended up lasting over a year.
That is correct.
And at some point, were you concerned that you should, that your job was to enforce the parking rules in the city?
I'm assuming a lot of people.
So excuse me, just a point of order. We're trying to have a budget hearing, meeting, and we're now kind of going sidetrack out of the budget hearing presentation that Ms. Turlo presented. I'll be more than happy to schedule, HPA for an OMB meeting, and we could have those discussions. But this is a budget hearing, and we're trying to stick to, questions related to her presentation.
Well, she talked a lot about responding to the community and complaints and accommodating businesses, and also about how her operations and her budget work. And I think it's important to note that for all of her efforts and all of her processes, we have informal intervention on behalf of business owners that frustrates her work by members of this body. I think that's important for us to talk about publicly, because it goes to what is this money we're spending on the HPA if we officially have ordinances and then quietly we make accommodations for our business owning friends. I think that's entirely relevant.
Have you received the answer to the question that you initially stated about the Zion Street?
Well, I'm trying to understand how it was that for a year we suspended the law and the operations of this agency that is before us, without any action by this body or any change in the law. I'm getting it.
Right, Councilman, let me,
Mr. Chair, point of order, can I respond to Councilman Mixtum?
Councilwoman Rosado, I'm gonna let you respond, but then after that, if we need to take a recess, we'll take a recess. I need to really consult with my colleagues here, because this is way out of order of the budget hearing.
Absolutely. So the questions that Councilman Mixtum is questioning here right now, he has the answers to all these questions. We've been back and forth. I'm going to say I, as a council member, did reach out to Ms. Turlo with a concern, not only Zion Street, Councilman Mixtum, there are other businesses that are involved, to find a better way that works for our small businesses and the bike lanes. And we did have meetings. It probably was 6-8 months. Due to certain circumstances, we couldn't get there, and that's why we have a resolution on the floor that was sent to committee to discuss. And I'm going to ask you respectfully for you to wait until that resolution comes out in committee, and you can ask all these questions, and you will get answers to all your questions. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Councilwoman Rosado. Councilman Mitchum, if we're going to take a recess, if your intent is to continue having conversations outside of this budget presentation, otherwise, if you want to follow up with the following question not related to this topic, then the floor is yours. Otherwise, I will move on to my next council colleague.
I'll summarize quickly and then I'll move on. I'll
right.
one comment.
We're going to take a quick recess. Thank you.
Whew, okay.
Thank you for waiting for a few more minutes. So seeing that, Ms. Turlo, you have completed your presentation, our council colleagues have no other questions, we're going to adjourn this meeting, and we'll talk to you guys offline when if you have any other questions. Thank you.
I have more questions.
Thank you.
I have more questions. Point of order.